In this video, I will be using group policy to deploy Opera. I'm starting this video from my GitHub page, and that's because there are a few bits of information here that I will be using for this video, and I will leave the URL in the description down below. And the group policy that I will be creating will perform two actions. One of them is deploying installation executable file to the client computers into C program data deployment folder, and also it will create a RunOnce registry entry for the user. And that's because in this video I will be using Opera user-wide installation, and for that type of installation, the installation needs to be performed under the user account, and also the installation needs to be executed by the user. And for that I will use RunOnce, and also for each setting I will be setting up item level targeting because I want to deploy these settings only for the users that doesn't have Opera already installed. Also, in the bottom of the page, you can find more of my videos that are related to this topic. For example, here you can find videos about my Windows Server setup if you're interested in that. There is also a video about creating Opera MSI installation file. If you want to deploy it as an MSI file, this installation right here will also be system-wide installation. And also there is a video about RunOnce if you want more details on how it works. And now I will begin this video by downloading Opera executable installation files, and for that I will use the link that I have here that brings me to the Opera download page. Then here I will scroll down a bit, I will expand Opera, and here I will be downloading the offline package. So to start the download I will click on 64-bit and the download should start. Then I will go to my downloads folder, and here I have my executable. And now I will right click on the executable, select copy, and then I will go to VMware Workstation where I have my Windows Server environment. For now, I will minimize the server manager and I will move the executable to my desktop. And from my desktop, I will move it to a network share that is accessible to my domain users and computers. So for that, I will open File Explorer, and here I will enter my file server name. It's srv02. As you can see, here I have a software share, and in this software share, I will create a new folder called Opera. I will go inside of it and I will move executable into this folder. And here you need to make sure that you have the correct NTFS and share permissions. For example, in my case, if I go to Properties, Security tab and Edit, you can see that I have authenticated users with read permissions for my NTFS permissions, and also I have the same permissions for my share permissions. And authenticated users covers both users and computers that are part of my domain. And with read permissions, that means that all of my computers and all of my users are able to access this share and execute files from it. So make sure that you have the correct permissions. And now I will close all the windows here and then go back to my server manager because now we can start creating our group policy. Then I will go to Tools, Group Policy Management, and I will right click on Group Policy Objects and select New. I will name this policy Deploy Opera, and I will click OK. I will expand Group Policy Objects, right click on the policy that I just created and select Edit. Now we want to go to User Configuration, Preferences, Windows Settings, and the first setting that I will be modifying will be for the file deployment. So I will select Files, I will right click here, go to New and select File. Here we need to provide source file and destination file. Source file is where we have our executable currently, and destination file is where we want to deploy it on the client machine. And I have all the values that I will be using in this video in my GitHub page. So I will go there, and as you can see, I have all the settings that I need for this video. And here for the source file, we have this value right here, so I will copy it. And as you can see, it's basically my file server, software share, Opera folder, and the executable. And I will move the value here. Then I will go back to the GitHub page, and then I will copy the destination path and paste it here. And also, as you can see in the destination path, I'm using this variable that will translate to C program data. And I will leave action on update, and that's basically everything that we need to do to deploy the file. Now I will be setting up item level targeting because we want to deploy this file only to the computers where users doesn't have Opera installed, and for that I will go to Common, select item level targeting and targeting. And here I will be targeting a registry key that is created after Opera installation. So to do that I will go to New Item, and select registry match. I will leave here everything on the left side on default. For match type, I will leave it at key exists, and for the hive, I will leave it at current user. And then I will only provide key path that I have in my GitHub page. And the key path is right here, so I will copy it and paste in the value right here. And now it's currently checking if the key exists, and only if the key exists, it will deploy the file. And we want to the opposite. So we need to change exist to does not exist, as you can see in the end here. And to do that, I will go to item options and select is not. And now it will deploy the file if the registry key does not exist. And this registry key will appear after the Opera installation. So we are all done here, and I will click OK, apply, and OK. Now let's deploy the registry settings, and for that I will go to the registry, right click here, go to new and select registry item. For the action we can leave it at update. For the hive I will leave it at current user, and we need to provide key path where we have our RunOnce key. And I have the value in the GitHub page, so I will copy it from here and paste in the value here. Now for value for value name, it's not that important. But anyways, I will copy it from here. We can name it whatever we want, but this will work. Now we want to provide value data, and I have that also in my GitHub page. So I will copy it and paste it here. And if you don't know how RunOnce works, basically it will execute this line that we have for our value data here for the user during the logon process. And this line right here will start a silent installation for Opera using these silent switches that we have here. And I will demonstrate everything later in this video. Now, once again, because we want to deploy these settings only to the users who doesn't have Opera installed, we need to set up item level targeting. And for that, I will go to common, select item level targeting, new item, registry match. Once again, everything on default on the left side. And I will copy the value that I have here for the key path and paste it in here. Also, we need, like before, to change exist to does not exist. So I will go to item options and select is not. And now it says does not exist. And that's what we want. So I will click OK, apply, and OK. And we are done creating our group policy. So I will close this window. Then I will select the policy here, go to details. And for GPO status, from enable, I will switch it to computer configuration disabled, because currently this policy only has user settings in it. And I will leave all other settings on default. Now, after creating our group policy, we need to assign it to an organization unit that is holding our users on which we want to deploy the software. In my case, the organization unit will be this one, domain users. And to assign the policy, I will click and hold on the policy, and then drag and drop it on the organization unit. And here I will click OK. As you can see, the policy appeared here and also in the list here. And now I will test this policy on my client machine, because I want to show you step by step how everything works. And for that, I will go to my client 01 that I have here. First, I will open File Explorer, and then here I will go to my C program data folder. As you can see here, currently we don't have the deployment folder. And also I will open the registry editor, because I want to show what I have currently in the registry. And for that, I will go to Start menu, I will type regedit, and I will open it without administrative privileges. And then I will go to current user, software, Microsoft, Windows, current version, and somewhere here we have RunOnce. And here we have some values currently, and it seems that the values are for OneDrive update, and we don't care about that. But we don't have the install Opera registry entry, and for it to appear, we need to update our group policy. So I will open a command line without administrative privileges, and I will type gp update. And as you can see, as soon as updating started, we get a deployment folder here, Opera, and we have our executable. And if I refresh the registry, you can see that the entry install Opera appeared here. And here is the value. And like I said before, RunOnce works like this. Basically, it will execute the value that we have here for this user during the logon process. And this line will start Opera installation for this user silently. And also, I should show you that if I delete the value manually, and also let's delete this deployment folder, and let's update the policy once again. And as you can see, instantly deployment folder reappeared. We once again have our executable. And if I refresh the registry, we have our registry entry here. And this will happen every time until this user gets Opera installed on his profile. And after that, the item level targeting should work and it should not redeploy the file or the registry. And now let's see how the installation works. Now that we have our executable and the registry entry that we need for the installation, let's trigger the installation by signing out and signing back in. So I will close all the windows that I have here. Go to my start menu and I will sign out from my user and then I will sign back in. I will open a task manager and see what's going on the system. And as you can see, the Opera installation has started. We see few processes running. So it should appear in a minute or two. Let's wait for that. And as you can see, the Opera browser appeared on my desktop. So I'll double click on it and see if the program is working. And it seems to be working just fine. Also, let's go to C program data folder once again. Let's delete the deployment folder. And also let's go to the registry. And we are currently in the RunOnce key, so everything is fine. And I deleted the deployment folder. Also, if I refresh the registry, you see that I don't have the registry entry for the silent installation. And let's update group policy and see what happens. Well, I mean, let's see if item level targeting is working. Because now that we have Opera installed, the registry key should not reappear. Same goes for the deployment folder. And as you can see, I refreshed the folder, but we don't have the deployment folder. And also in the registry, the entry for silent installation for Opera is not appearing because now we have Opera installed for this user. And that's basically it for deploying Opera using registry settings and group policy. And you also should know that this deployment option only works for software that doesn't need administrative privileges to install. And also because everything that we have on our local machine for the deployment after group policy update, even if the computer leaves the company network or your local network or whatever, it doesn't even need to have internet access. When he signs back into the computer, let's say at home or at a coffee shop or whatever, the installation will start for him. Because everything that is needed for the software installation is deployed during the group policy update. For example, here I have this client 02 and I will try to demonstrate that. I will open command line. I will do gp update to get the executable file to this machine and also the registry setting. And now after group policy was updated, I will modify the settings for this virtual machine by disconnecting the network. And as you can see now, I don't have internet access and I don't have access to my local network. That means that I don't have access to my file server or domain controller. And if I sign out and sign back in, I will also open the task manager. You can see that the Opera installation has started, even though we don't have network access or internet access. And this is great because other software deployment options that we have with group policy require clients to have access to the company's local network. I mean, it needs to access domain controller or the file server or whatever, depending on the option. But in this case, because we already have everything that we need for the deployment, the installation is successful even though we don't have the local access to our network. And if I double click on Opera, it should start and it seems to be working just fine. And that's basically it for this video. In the future videos, I will show you how to deploy Opera using other software deployment tools. So like and subscribe if you want to see that, and see you in the next one.